Hello everyone. Today I am going to start your first chapter of economics, that is development. Students, in this chapter we will read about the meaning of development, its features and many more other important topics which were directly or indirectly associated with the concept of development. Students, the idea of development or the progress has always been with us. We have aspirations or the desires about what we would like to do and how we would like to live. In this chapter, we will go through all those things and we will study these things in detail. So, we will start the chapter with the meaning of development. Students, it is a comprehensive term which includes increase in the per capita income, improvement in the living standard of the people and the reduction in poverty. On the whole, we can say that all those things which were associated with the progress of ours or the human beings, all those things were included in the concept of development. So, it is a comprehensive term which includes increase in the per capita income that will raise the quality of life and it will give us improvement in our living standard and the reduction of the poverty. Okay, I hope you were able to understand. Now we will see the major features of development. Okay, the first feature is different persons have different developmental goals. What may be the development for one may not be the development for other. Okay. Different peoples, they used to live into the different conditions. That is why they having the different notions and they having the different thought about the concept of development. That is why what may be the development for one, it may not be the development for the other. It may be destructive for the others. I will explain this by giving you one example. We can take the example of the construction of dam. Students, the construction of dam will be a development for the big farmers and the industrialists as they will be able to get the electricity and the water for irrigation to irrigate their land. But it will be not a development for those people who have to be displaced because of the construction of dam. So here in this example it will be clear that different persons, they having the different goals and what may be the development for one, it may not be the development for the others. As I have already told you in the example that construction of dam will be beneficial for the big farmers and the industrialists as they all having the benefits, but it will not a development for those people who have to displace because of the construction of dam. Okay, I hope you understand. The third point is income is considered as the most important component of development. We all know that money played a very vital role in everyone's life, so it is directly associated with the concept of development. That is why income is considered as a major component of every development. Now we will see the second topic, that is per capita or average income. Students, per capita income or the average income is the average income of the people of a country in a definite period of time. Okay, per capita income is the average income of the people of a country in a definite period of time, and here I have given you the formula by which we can calculate the per capita or average income. Here we will divide the national income with the total number of population and what we will got, that will be the per capita or average income. I hope you all are able to understand this. Now we will see the uses of per capita income. The first one is, it is used to make a comparison between the countries on economic basis. Students, per capita income is the most common way to make a difference or to make a comparison between the different countries of the world. World Bank has took this criteria to make a difference or to categorize the countries into rich or low income countries. Okay, means World Bank has divided the countries into rich or low income countries on the basis of per capita income. I hope you were also able to understood this. Now we will see the limitations of per capita income. Students, its first limitation is that it takes into account only the economic aspect of life and ignores the social aspects. Means I have already told you that it took only per capita income as the way to make a difference among the countries. That is why the first limitation of per capita income is that it took only the economic aspect, that is money or income, and ignores the other important social aspects. What are they? I will explain you in the later points. The second one is, it ignores the other important aspects of life like education, health and life expectancy. Means these are also the very important aspect of life. Life expectancy means the average age of a person in a country. Okay. The third one is, non-material things like peace, pollution-free environment is also not taken as a criteria to make the difference between the different countries of the world. So these are the three limitations of per capita income. Now we will see another topic, that is UNDP, United Nations Development Program. Students, this is also a very important topic in context of this chapter. So now we will read about UNDP. Students, UNDP is an international agency of UNO which measure the countries of the world by using different measures. Means it not took only the economic aspects, it also took so many other things that we will see in this topic. Okay, so the criteria used by UNDP for measuring the development of different countries is very much different from what we have read earlier when we read about the per capita income. As we have see there, World Bank took only the per capita income as a measure to make a difference among the different countries of the world, but UNDP here it took so many other things also along with income that we will see. To rank the countries, UNDP has taken education, health and life expectancy and other important components as the basis of development. Okay, so here we have seen one difference between UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program. Okay, it not took only the economic aspects, but it also took other important aspects which we have read earlier. So it took education, health and life expectancy along with income, whereas we have read that World Bank has taken per capita income only. Okay, the second point is UNDP is a broad concept as it takes into the account all the important components of human development, whereas World Bank is a narrow concept as takes account only the income as its base. I hope you are able to understand this point. Okay, now we will see the third one. UNDP ranked the different components of the development and then it provided a rank to a country. I am giving you one example. In 2015, India ranked 130th in UNDP on the calculations of all those aspects. Okay, so UNDP ranked the countries on the basis of all those different components, whereas World Bank has divided the countries into low, upper and high income countries. So here I hope you all are able to understand the difference between the UNDP and World Bank, that what criteria these both agencies took to calculate the development of a nation. Now we will see another important topic, that is money in our pocket cannot buy all the goods and services that we need to live well. Students, it is very true that money plays a very vital role in everyone's life, but money is not only the thing that we all need to live well. There were so many other things also that we will see. It is very important topic, so watch it carefully. Okay, now we will see the first thing. Money cannot buy a pollution free environment. Students, you are very rich, you having enough amount of money, but still there were so many things which you can not buy. Okay, and the first thing is pollution free environment. Okay, with having enormous amount of money you cannot buy a pollution free environment. Means you can keep your house clean, but you cannot keep your society clean. Okay, if everyone will do, then only it will be possible. So the first point, money cannot buy a pollution free environment. Okay, the second point is money may also not be able to protect us from the infectious diseases. Nowadays COVID-19 is the best example of this, as you all know about this. So in this context we can say that money may also not be able to protect us from the infectious diseases. I hope you all understood this point well. So we will see the third point. Money cannot buy peace and respect. Students, you having lots of money, you are very rich, but still there were so many things which you can not able to purchase. That is peace of mind and respect from the others. These two things we cannot purchase of our own. Okay, those things we have to earn. The fourth point is there are so many things like schools, hospitals, parks, etc. that an individual, he or she cannot afford. So all these things are provided us by the government. Okay, means we cannot, an individual cannot afford the schools, means to purchase the schools, hospitals, parks, because these are the community, or means these things are provided by the government to us. So these are the things which money could not buy to live well. Now the next topic is Human Development Index. This is also very important topic for you, so watch it carefully. Okay, the next topic is Human Development Index. Students, this index is prepared by UNDP, that I taught you earlier, United Nations Development Program. Human Development Index is prepared by UNDP. We will read about it. Human Development Index or HDI has been published by UNDP, and according to it, countries have been ranked. So the means criteria of human development is it also see the education ratio, health ratio of the different countries of the world, and on the basis of that progress they ranked the countries. So UNDP do this under Human Development Index. Okay. The second point is HDI is used to measure the development of a country. It is used to measure the development of a country not only in terms of economic aspects, but I have already told you that it judges the development of the countries on so many other factors also, like health or education. Okay. The third one is it is a comprehensive approach which covers all the major aspects of life, and those major aspects I have explained you earlier. So I hope you got all those 3 points. The last one is apart from income, education, health status, life expectancy, and are considered for measuring economic development of a nation. Means this point you also know that I have told you World Bank only took income as the factor to judge between or to make a difference between the different countries of the world, but UNDP under the program of Human Development Index, it apart from income, it also took other important factors also. Okay. So I hope you understood this. Now in this chapter there are so many terms which you should know, and you all have already read these terms in your earlier classes. The first one is infant mortality rate. I hope you all know this, but here also it is very important. Students, it indicates the number of children that die before the age of 1 year as a population, as a proportion of 1000 live children in that particular area. You all know this. So I think there is nothing in this point. Now we will see that the net attendance ratio. Students, it indicates the total number of children of the age group of 14 and 15. This point is important. Means net attendance ratio, we took the age group of 14 and 15 years who are attending the school from all that particular age group. Understood? Means it indicates the total number of children of the age group of 14 and 15 years attending school from the total number of children in the same age group, that is 14 and 15. Means here we have to calculate how many students of the age group of 14 and 15 they are attending the schools from the all students of that age group. Okay. Now the last topic is BMI. It is also very important topic. Body mass index. Students, it is a way to find out if adults are undernourished. It is to calculate what nutrition scientists call BMI. We used to calculate BMI to know that whether a child or a person is undernourished or overnourished. Okay. So now we will see how we can calculate BMI. Okay. So in order to calculate the BMI, first weight of that person took in kgs. We have to took weight in the kgs. Okay, then height is measured in, means the height of that person we have to measure in meters. Okay, then the weight is divided by the height of square. Okay, means we have to calculate the weight of a person in kgs, then we have to means took the height of that particular person in meters, and then weight is divided by the height of square. This also they have given in your book, so if you having the book you can also see there. So after doing all these calculations, if we got the figure less than 18.5, means by calculating the BMI, if we got the figure 18.5, it means that the person would be undernourished. Okay, but if the figure is more than 25, it means that the person is overweight. Okay, I hope you all were able to understood what I have taught you. So today I have taught you about the development, its features, per capita income, role of money, its negatives, its positive. We have read about UNDP, and we make a difference between UNDP and the World Bank, that how they calculate the progress of the different countries and how they ranked them. We also see the important terms of this chapter. So I hope you all are able to understand. If you having any problem, I have given you the notes in your WhatsApp group, so please go through the notes. It will help you to understand these topics which I have taught you today. So still, if you having any problem, you can ask me, but in my WhatsApp number personally, not in the group. Okay, thank you.